Welcome to the Elliott Confidential Podcast. I'm Chris Elliott. I'm here with Iden Elliott and Aren Elliott. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
All right. I like that enthusiasm. We're in Christchurch. It's week 3 of Christchurch, New Zealand. And this was our hiking week. This was the week that we got out of town and we went out into the hills and we saw beautiful New Zealand. Wow, just an amazing place. But before we get to all of that, I wanted to do our question of the week, which is, please tell us about your very favorite hike while you were on vacation. I know it's maybe not the most original question since we're talking about hiking this week, but I know that on vacation a lot of people like to walk. We love to walk, and so I'd love to hear about your very special hike. Maybe you were in a place like Sedona and you found a really nice, we love the airport loop trail in Sedona.
Or the what is it called?
Cathedral Rock?
Cathedral Rock.
Not Cathedral Rock.
Amazing.
I'm talking about the chakra circles, whatever those are called.
Oh, the vortexes.
Chakra circle?
Vortexes.
The vortexes.
Yes, the vortexes. Yeah. So tell us about your very favorite hiking experience while you were on vacation. And I would love to hear about it. And we'll, of course, be reading your comments in the next podcast. So this week, we had a lot going on. It was the end of the semester for you guys, and that meant that it was kind of like a high-stress environment. So is the stress over now, guys?
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
You're feeling all right?
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay.
Well, I've got a little bit more work I've got to do because my semester doesn't end for another, week and a half. But, everything's good. I feel way less stressed. The big work's behind me.
Yep. My semester's over.
And you got your first grade today?
Oh,
Iden,
yeah.
Which is,
Oh, man. That was really a relief. I thought I would get
not an A.
I thought I would get an unsatisfactory score in that course.
But you got a really good grade. Yeah. I'm very proud of you.
And it was for a video that I think we're going to be posting on your channel by the time this podcast comes out.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because this was the week that I started live streaming. I never thought I would be doing live streaming, but we had an event. It was a really terrible situation with a cruise line where they basically stopped responding to customers, and there's a lot of speculation that they may be going bankrupt. This is Vantage Travel. And so every day I was getting hammered with emails from people, and so I decided, well, you know what? Maybe I should just go live and start talking about this. So I did. Last Tuesday, I started talking about the situation and answering questions. And then I did another one, and then another one, and then another one. And today I even had a guest on. And I'm telling you, live streaming is great because, all of your readers are there and they're interacting with you in person right then and there in the moment. And I love it. It's great. So I'm hoping to do more.
Yeah.
And even you guys think that I might be able to pull this one off. So maybe it feels a little like I'm switching from print to online. That transition.
Well, you did that back in the 90s, didn't you?
I did in the 90s.
Yeah. You're going to become
I say that as if I was alive in the 90s.
Well, you weren't. That's okay, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Christchurch and hiking because we've been going hiking in a lot of places. But before we do, Aren, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who do you think should come to a place like Christchurch? Who's like the ideal visitor?
Frankly, if you like small cities in the United States, those little granola-bearing cities like Boulder, Sedona, places like that, then you're definitely going to like a place like Christchurch, given you're able to get across the fact that you have to drive on the left side of the road. But it's sort of like that. It's a nice little town. It sort of looks like Switzerland, really pedestrian friendly. And if you have a car, you can go drive out to, there's this crater that we're right next to, and they have a lot of good hiking there. And you can drive over to the Alps. The Alps are really great.
You talk about it looking like Switzerland so nonchalantly,
it does
but
feel,
if it looks like Switzerland, that's a really good thing, though.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's Switzerland. They don't really they have Alps here, but we don't see any snow-capped mountains like you do in Switzerland. But it still is very beautiful.
Yeah.
And the people, the people are really nice. You've interacted with some of the people here too.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that the streets look very well kept like Switzerland. And I think that really does make the people in the area happier. If you have a clean area, people are going to act clean. I feel like, wasn't there a sort of cleanup effort in New York that was similar to
Broken
that.
windows theory.
Yes, they did that like years ago.
They cleaned up New York and then they saw less crime. I feel like it's the same here. You know, when you're in Australia, I would say it's more similar to the bigger cities in the U.S. where you're going to see garbage here and there, and a lot of parts of the cities are quite dirty. You know, no different to most cities in most countries. But you come here and it's like Switzerland, and I feel like that really is reflective of the attitude of people here. Everything is clean and the people are nice.
So let's talk about hiking, though, because we have been hiking every single day. Aren, we've been hiking in this park.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the park. And I know Iden has too, but you know, you and I probably do a little bit more walking because you're up earlier in the morning, so you get to walk with me.
Yeah.
So you've got this park here, and it's huge. It's like easily the size of Central Park, maybe bigger.
Yeah. So basically, there's a botanical gardens that starts sort of in the center of town. You've got a lot of stuff going on there. I wouldn't say a lot of stuff, but it's a really nice sort of hip area. It's kind of like the downtown, where it's not where everything happens, but there's, you know, it's sort of chill there. You've got a lot of businesses. So
and then you've got
really
the
nice.
Avon River going through,
Yeah.
and you've got people canoeing along the river.
And so you have the botanical gardens, which is contained in that river, and beyond the river, there's Hagley Park South and North, which are basically soccer fields for whatever sports they decide to do. They do that there. They also have, it's really nice. You can hike, not really hiking. It's more like jogging, biking, things like that. And it's a very well kept park. Enjoy being there. They've got all of the amenities that you would want from a park. So yeah, definitely a lot of good hiking you can do here. And it's kind of like Central Park because it's really in the center of everything.
Yeah, it is. And Hagley Park, Iden, we're walking in the park in the evening more because you get up later and even in nighttime. What's it like at night?
Oh, it's a vibe at night. I like to listen to Brazilian chill out music, mostly Marcos Valle. He had a album called, I think it was called Reflections, and it is the chillest Brazilian jazz you'll ever hear. I just walk around. It is really a vibe. I'll be honest with you.
So there's no crime really. It's just like a really. Because I don't know what it's like in the evening.
I've not witnessed any crime. I've not seen any crime.
Yeah.
I've also not felt endangered at all because, I mean, look, if you're walking around an area, this goes back to the streets. If you're walking around in a dirty area, like there's plastic and other gunk on the floor,
which we haven't really found here. I mean, there's like a little area downtown that's kind of like it's undergoing this from the earthquake.
They're
it's
just
still undergoing some renovations there.
It, yeah. Then you'll feel a little bit in danger. But actually, it's very interesting because I also think it has to do with the fact that we're just in New Zealand. Because when we were in Hobart, in Australia, I loved Hobart. I would say Hobart was probably our second best place.
Yeah, I loved
behind,
Hobart.
What was the city called in Perth?
Fremantle.
Fremantle.
Fremantle, yeah, but we didn't really stay in Fremantle. But yes, I love Fremantle too.
Hobart was super clean, but at night I witnessed crime there.
Oh yeah. Well, glad that we didn't.
You guys didn't. I did.
That's right. You had that incident with that guy.
Yeah, I was walking down the street in my 6'4", cruising down the street in my 6'4". Know that one? Okay. Yeah, so I was just cruising down the street in my 6'4", and I noticed this guy, he threw something to the ground really hard. It made a loud noise. And then he just started chasing people. And he was...
Did he come after you?
No,
okay.
But he was really upset for some reason. And so he went into the grocery store. And I remember...
He followed you into the grocery store.
I followed him into the grocery store.
Technically, you follow him into the grocery store?
Because I wanted to get a soda.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, God.
That reminds me of Long Beach a little bit. Because we had like lots of encounters in Long Beach.
To be fair, Long Beach is way worse.
Feared for my life.
Way worse.
Yeah. Well, the part of Long Beach that we were in but there's a better part of Long Beach that we probably should have stayed in.
I'm willing to bet he said something really awful to the cashier because they pointed him out and he left.
Yeah.
But he stayed in the parking lot. And I was walking out and he was looking at me. And I was like, you know what?
I'm going to drink my soda right in front of this grocery store. And I really feel bad for the next guy that came out because he was looking at the next guy and then he followed the next guy.
Yeah,
That
okay.
I actually feel really bad about.
That's kind of
I know
scary.
that he probably mugged that other guy.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not, but he was just, he was, he wasn't even moving his eyes, he was moving his head. I could tell very clearly that he was looking at me and other people going out.
It's kind of scoping you out, yeah.
So,
well, I'm glad you made it okay. I'm glad you didn't get mugged or anything like that.
I mostly just feel bad for the other guy.
Yeah, well,
I really do.
I'm sure he's
But
fine.
Hobart was clean. Hobart was clean and there was still crime there. I really do think it's a New Zealand thing. There's just not as much crime here.
There is, yeah. We have not. Now, I've heard that Auckland does have a little bit more crime. It's a little bit, more. It's a bigger city. So we'll have to see because I think Auckland, it's safe to say now Auckland will be our next stop. So we will be reporting from there soon and we'll have all of the details of... It's going to get cold. I'm just warning you guys because it's almost winter and we're going to be up there. Even if it is the North Island, it's still going to get cold. So we'll bundle up. Let's talk about hiking, though, outside of town. We had this great experience where we went up to the mountains. There's an adventure park and a chairlift there. And then you walk up and there's a beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean. And Aren... you're actually the guy who found this hiking path, so tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so on the way to this crater, which if you look at the map of New Zealand, the South Island, and you look at Christchurch, just southeast of it, there's this crater. This is really interesting. And I forget exactly what it's called, but it's very interesting. There's mountains everywhere, great place for hiking. We went to a place called Hariel Track, which is, they call, these paths, these trails, they call them tracks here in New Zealand. And in any case, we went there, we hiked up, and then there was this trail on Sugarloaf Mountain, and so we decided to go there, and we got the really nice view of the Pacific Ocean and also the crater. It was not a crater, it was, man, I forgot the word already.
Yeah, it's a crater-like thing. Well, I'll post some pictures, Aren, so that people can see for themselves where we were. The hike itself was very interesting too. There weren't very many people there, and then you would go up a hill, and then suddenly you would be under just this canopy, this very dense canopy, and it was very muddy too. Mm-hmm. And Iden and I got pretty mudded up.
Oh yeah, it was really bad. Still on the shoes right now.
Yeah, my shoes are still muddy as well. And we got a ride back in an Uber, and I thought, oh man, I'm going to get charged for cleaning the guy's car, but we didn't get charged.
Surprisingly, I looked at the maps when we left. No residue.
Yeah, well, we tried to get all the mud off our shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard when you're going hiking and then you're getting an Uber. But anyway, fortunately for us, we didn't. But I have to say that New Zealand is easily one of the most beautiful places that I've ever visited. When you go to the top of the mountain and you're just looking down, it is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's so green, and the ocean, when we went on a very clear day, it's unlike anything that I've ever seen. And you can't compare it to Switzerland because Switzerland doesn't have the Pacific Ocean. But it is just really beautiful.
Yeah, so basically the place we're talking about is called the Banks Peninsula, and it's a volcanic feature. So, definitely it used to be a volcano, or it still is a volcano.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
In our last podcast, we asked you to name your friendliest city, and you had a lot to say about that. John says pick a pub, any pub in Portrush, Northern Ireland, and you may likely be in the most friendly pub ever. Not that we hit them all. And John, I got to tell you, if we were in Northern Ireland, we probably would be doing the same thing. I mean, we might not be drinking very much, but we would certainly be checking out the pubs. I've heard that Ireland is very friendly. We want to go to Ireland too. You guys still want to go to Ireland?
Yes, explore our Irish heritage.
There is some Irish in all of us.
Yes, I felt lucky. I looked at my.
Look at the Irish.
I looked at
the Irish.
Well, I didn't even realize that. No, I was just lucky that I wasn't British.
I have some bad news for you. You also have all the voters.
No.
Carol says her friendliest city is Christchurch, New Zealand. Surprise, surprise. She says she would have moved there if we had not had grandchildren in the States. Love New Zealand. Friendliest people we have ever met, both the North and South Islands. I cannot disagree with you, Carol. I think that have we met one mean person here yet? I have not.
Nah.
No, I haven't.
Sandra also agrees that New Zealand is the friendliest place, so much so that I lived there for 2 years and return almost every year. So Sandra, maybe we'll see you when you come here, because we're still here. Kathy says, for friendly, it's hard to beat Ireland. Wow, another vote for Ireland.
Yeah.
Prior to that trip, I thought the Aussies were the friendliest people on earth. But in Ireland, the bus we were on had a passenger with severe motion sickness, and you can mentally picture the issue. We were in the middle of nowhere, and the tour director wanted to find a way to get the poor guy off the bus and to the hotel faster so he could get over it. A woman from a nearby farm came upon us, and oh my God, she said, put him in my car. I'll drive him for you for a couple of hours. And she says, what a saint. So she actually helped them with this guy who had motion sickness. That's very friendly.
That's nice,
Yes.
yeah. Probably give him a Guinness too to calm his nerves down.
Yeah.
Sorry, my accent is horrible.
A Guinness. KP says, I have to say West Virginia is the friendliest place. I lived elsewhere, and even with an Illinois license plate, everyone was very friendly. Terry says, we spent over 50 years in Minnesota, and there's a saying, Minnesota nice. While the people of Minnesota are nice, they don't hold a candle to North Texas. We moved down here to Texas to get away from the Minnesota's climate and could not believe what nice was until we got to Dallas-Fort Worth.
Oh my God, I cannot agree enough. When we were in Houston, they were nice. When we were in Dallas, they were nice. When we were in, basically, you don't even have to just say northern Texas. You can just say the entire state of Texas. Well, it is a big state, but I'll be honest, every place we've been to in Texas, they've been so nice.
Yeah.
Like every woman there is my grandmother. And my grandmother isn't even that nice. They're like grandmother times two.
It's like friendly grandmother.
Yeah, they're friendlier
Yes.
than my grandmother's Polish. Kind of makes sense, but still.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other grandmother. Anyway.
No. Oh, that's the Irish grandma. I
Right.
thought the Irish grandma was supposed to be nice too.
I thought she was at least supposed to be friendly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it from Christchurch, New Zealand. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun this time.
Yes.
And we will be exploring more of Christchurch this next week, and we'll have a full report for you next week. Don't forget our question of the week, which is tell us about your favorite hike in the world while you were traveling somewhere. Where did you go and what did you do? Want to hear all about it. Have a great week, everyone.
Have a good week.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.